So one of the things we talked about, and MHE did a video. It was called with me. He did the interview. He did two of them. One was the rotation conundrum, and the other one was the projectile problem. Where we talked about the projectile velocities, fire rates, and all that kind of stuff. Mostly velocities and Star Citizen, how they affect the geometry of combat. The faster projectile rates are, the less you need to be into an advantageous position to get a firing solution. Hit scan weapons or instant hit weapons are there's no need to worry about anything other than just putting your cursor over the target or whatever, your reticule, and just hitting the fire button. So this is why, when that video was done, and we talked about they want to have a World War II-esque aesthetic as far as combat ranges go, that they should look at the World War II projectile velocities as a starting point, because that would encourage positional combat and get the ranges that they want. Now, if they wanted to add additional things in, like bleed off for energy weapons, like, yeah, energy weapons are unlimited, but you got to be closer to use them. That'd be cool. I think there should be some sort of draw. I'm using these FL33s. These weapons have like over a 4 kilometer range, and they have no drop off. But they don't do as much damage as some of the other energy weapons, but they have no drop off and really good range. That's probably going to change in the future. But for now, Alright, so what I did is I took the original trailer from the Star Citizen Kickstarter, and I just showed you that Xenothreat combat video, and I put them side by side. So you can see that when I talk about the difference in the projectile rates when they first introduced Star Citizen as a spiritual successor to Wing Commander, with a World War II in space kind of combat distance aesthetic, versus what you see today, and you can see the difference in the rates, the volume, and everything like that. And I hope that it kind of illustrates a bit of the point of where of how things look. And another game right now that at least I haven't played it in a little while, but back when I did videos on Infinity Battlescape, you can get some massive battles, 200, 300 ships, and the projectile rates were very much close to what you saw in the Star Citizen trailer from the Kickstarter. And you could have these really amazingly awesome battles, and had time to react to incoming fire because you could see it coming. Another good example of that would maybe be if you ever played X-Wing back in the day.
We
X-Wing
have
or TIE
five
Fighter.
fighters coming in behind us.
Oh, okay. Well, give me a second here.
They're far enough away. I don't think they're going to bother us yet.
Let me just check a distance. Yeah, they're 9 kilometers. Okay, let me go and run that footage then. I will get blown up in the middle of the stream.
No, some other people went out, so that we're
Oh,
not defenseless.
that's good. All right, let me kick this on real quick. All right. So just as this is playing, just give a look at the differences between, glance back and forth between the screens, and you can get an idea of how things fire, like on the Bengal versus how they fire on the Idris here, and you can see how the projectiles look, how they act, because of their rates and their volumes. Are we getting attacked?
I'm shooting him.
Okay.
He's dead.
Okay, cool. Okay. So it requires a bit more getting on the tail of your enemy than you do currently. This is a good example right here. And this is yes, I know this is a more of a scripted kind of demo. I get that. But I'm more interested in the way the projectiles act. And I truly believe that the one on the right looks way more epic than the one on the left. The one on the left's really pretty. I definitely won't deny that. But I think the one on the right has more of an epic feel of what they were looking for, being the spiritual successor of Wing Commander. Now, I mean, as you're watching this, what are your guys' thoughts on this? Because, I mean, maybe I'm alone in that. Maybe I'm just, flat wrong from your perspective. And if so, why? Why do you think that, the this dancing between the raindrops model that we have right now is better than one that, where you have more ability to maneuver and to deal? Yeah, the left one does feel like chaos, in my opinion. It feels just, give you an example. It's somewhat related, somewhat not. I actually enjoy FPS shooter PvP on consoles more than on computers. Now, there's a reason for that. It's not because, let's face it, PC has way better, controls. It's built better for the FPS movement and shooting. But on the consoles, one of the things I noticed right off the bat when I started playing on consoles, when I got out of PC gaming for a little while, was that on a PC, if you were to run from building A to building B, and it was like 50 feet, right? And a PC, someone's probably going to kill you. Pinpoint accuracy, they're going to shoot you dead. On a console, if you run from door A to door B, because of the inherent inaccuracies and twitchiness of people's thumbs and stuff like that, with analog control, you can probably make it. Without having that absolute pinpoint accuracy, it changed the dynamics in how you move in FPS. So in the same regards, by changing the dynamics of how Gunnery works here, you change the dynamics of everything related to combat. Yeah, you're right. Information overload on the left. It's you don't have time to appreciate the scale of the threat. It's the rounds are in your face. It's like it's just it, and there's no. And the one on the right, look how slow the turrets they rotate slowly. There's like this crank up, like boom, 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 and the one on the left is just everything. It's just like the Kylo Ren, more, 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 and it's just it's just like that whole thing. It's over the top. Yeah. The right one's a space fantasy. Star Citizen is supposed to be a space fantasy. It's not supposed to be, a hardcore flight sim. I don't think anyone said it's supposed to be a hardcore flight sim. It's one of those things that there's no way it can be a sim because it's a future world with aliens and weird technology, and but I hope that of course the text is slightly going over the screen on the right now. And I'm looking at it. I guess I didn't think about that when I more, louder, faster, harder. Yeah, there's the pacing across the board. The one on the right looks majestic. It has a flow to it that the one on the left doesn't have. The one on the left, it's just tank and spank chaotic mess, in my opinion. And the one on the right is like the fantasy sci-fi that you're familiar with, the stuff that that you grew up and loved, and the stuff that this was supposed to be a throwback into. And I mean, I think they say a picture says is worth 1,000 words, but to me, and then how much is this video worth? Anyway, so additional thoughts, guys. I don't know how long the show is going to be today, because honestly, there wasn't a lot of news. It was more just the stuff I saw in here that I wanted to go over with you, and I do work tonight because that same person's on vacation again, and so I'm covering for them again.
Person who likes to take a vacation every month.
Every month. I've had 6 days in nearly 8 years. All right, so anyway, I didn't play much of PlanetSide, to be honest with you, but I couldn't get really into it. I did respect. I used to like what was that one? It was Tribes. I used to play a lot of PvP on a game called Tribes, the original one, not the second one. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, the PlanetSide can have some massive players, and that's the thing too. Like the more people you throw in, the more the faster things move. The more important it is to have frequent updates. Because the desync, you've already saw it when I was just flying around. We were shooting at that fighter, right? We had that situation where we had the desync, and the ship basically just like popped up in my face. And they had to come up with a new technology in the game a while back to deal with all these projectiles. Now, I was talking to Hammy in Discord, and they said, well, it's still good we have that tech that takes less processing power for the projectiles. And I completely agree. And that was the good thing coming out of their desperation to deal with the projectile volumes and getting the frame rates back up, was they came up with a good tech. But now if they take that same tech and bring the velocities and volume back down, well, then it'll run even better. See, but flying, it literally still feels like, even when you're watching this, I know their flight model is moving in the right direction. I mean, it's moving in a better direction as far as if it moves into a final finished product. That's going to be good. We can only hope. But it very much is still, when you're watching this, every aspect, even the way the Capitals look like they're fighting. And by the way, the Idris kicks the crap out of the Javelin. It just fires from range the Javelin can't touch because of that railgun. Yeah, they're all strafing. That's right. The ones on the left, all they're doing is strafing. It's you circling around the target, firing everything you have. Perfect example right there. Look at that. Would you want to be that ship? I wouldn't want to be. I mean, it's just nonstop circle strafing, fire everything you have, tank and spank, and the one on the right, you get close to the capital ship. The turrets move slow. They can't track very well. Think about the original Star Wars. They had to send fighters out after the X-wings attacking the Death Star because their turrets on the Death Star couldn't track the fighters. Look at the way these turrets move here, big and slow. They're made basically to handle larger targets. You might get lucky. You might hit a fighter, but generally speaking, they're not really made to deal with the fighters. Yeah, there's no optimal position today unless you're a fighter behind a Starfarer. Yeah. Yeah, there really has to be a massive difference.